Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Corey from Lion Dads, and today's video we're going to kind of talk about keto desserts or desserts that you can eat that are more ketogenic and carnivore friendly. Is this something you can do? Is this something you should do? And kind of how to navigate the dessert thing on a carnivore diet. But before we get started on that, I want you guys to go to www.lion-dads.com. Got a link down in the description, and go check out my guide to getting started on a carnivore diet. It's a free PDF you'll get. It's got everything you need to get started. It's got a shopping list in there you can take to the store and start getting everything you need today to start losing weight with a carnivore diet, taking back your health and fitness. So let's get into the video. Like I said today, I want to talk about it's a question I get asked about a lot from you guys about incorporating, desserts into a carnivore diet, how to do it, what kind of foods are friendly in that regard. People see the keto desserts in the store, they see them marketed on TV, the little, like the Atkins bars and all that kind of crap. They see, people eating all this kind of stuff, and they wonder, hey, is this a thing I can do? Get my sugar fix, get my sweet fix, not sugar fix, but my sweet fix, get my, keep eating desserts and that kind of stuff, and, and still get my results and get the health results and fitness benefits that I want from a carnivore diet. So, and that's understandable. I know it's that kind of eating food for entertainment is a thing that I talk about on here. It's kind of a mindset culturally that we've developed, and I know that's important to a lot of people. So I just want to kind of talk about how to navigate that. Can you do it? Pros and cons, that kind of stuff. So let's talk about that a little bit. Let's talk about some of these variations of the carnivore diet and how desserts kind of fit in them. I kind of break the carnivore diet into categories a little bit. Like there's different, it's not just this broad generalization. It kind of is like the carnivore diet, eat meat, get, that nothing else, and kind of see the results from that, right? But there's kind of different variations that have been created along the way that people do, right? So you got your one end of the spectrum is your more strict Lion diet. It's kind of been coined by Michaela Peterson, or I think she's the one that came up with Lion diet, but it's basically just beef and salt, and that's all you eat, right? You're just eating beef. Organ meats, I think, are pretty much a staple of that one. It's like nose to tail and salt, and that's it. So obviously, if you're eating that strict, if you're eating that Lion diet, beef and salt, the most, restrictive of the carnivore diet. I don't like using the word restrictive. I shouldn't have said that, but the most the tightest, I guess, of a carnivore diet, that beef and salt diet. Obviously, the desserts are probably going to be out on that one, right? Probably not going to be able to find ways to fit, carnivore-friendly desserts, if that's really a thing. These keto desserts into that kind of a way of eating. Moving down the line, you kind of got your BBBE, your beef, bacon, butter, and eggs, which I always say on here is my favorite variation of a carnivore diet. It's the one I like the most, one I've seen the best results from. Also, it's kind of in the name, it's a little restricted to that, right? The beef, bacon, butter, and eggs. So if it doesn't have beef, bacon, butter, and eggs in it, you're probably not going to be eating it. And I don't know many desserts that are made with beef, bacon, butter, and eggs. So however you look at it, you know what I mean? If you're eating that strict, probably not going to be able to fit desserts in there unless you can come up with some kind of dessert where you're just whipping butter and eggs together and eating that. And maybe that's a thing you can try, and let me know if you found something good. Depending on the version of even, a big part of it comes down to what your relationship is or your thoughts are on artificial sweeteners as well, right? So if you're okay with artificial sweeteners and you're all right with eating them, and you want to put bacon or butter and eggs together and throw some sweetener in there, come up with some kind of little creme brulee thing or something. I don't know what it would even be. Maybe that's something you do. Then moving down, you got your regular carnivore diet and your more ketovore, dirty carnivore, they call it, sort of a diet. And those are probably where you're going to find that you can be a little more flexible and come up with ways to fit these kind of things into your diet. You're kind of looking at, okay, I can kind of eat more cream cheese and cheeses and things like that. And, you're probably having some sweetener, like stuff with sweetener in it. I know if you follow Carnivorous Chef on YouTube, he's got a fantastic, phenomenal channel with great recipes and stuff in there. Definitely go check that out. And he does a lot of different, desserts and stuff like that, and different dishes and things that you can do. And they take artificial sweeteners. He is more on the like dirty carnivore side of the spectrum, depending on how strict you want to be with it and what you feel like you can kind of get away with. It might be for you, might not be. You know what I mean? I think the more strict, militant type people would stay on the other spectrum and maybe not try this stuff. But for some of us, like me, I go through swings of it. I kind of have said on here, I'll kind of deviate a little bit and talk about how I do this again. But depending on what my goals are, I kind of have a different approach than a lot of people do. I don't stay very consistent with one thing all that long. I kind of do little bulks and cuts through the year, kind of like an old school style, just to kind of show people that you kind of can do that. So like I'm kind of cutting right now, and so I'm a little more strict, doing more of the BBBE kind of thing right now. Towards the end of the year, winter, the weather warms up and stuff, I might kind of relax a little bit and do more of that ketovore thing when I don't really care. I'm not trying to tighten things up too much. So that's kind of the way I do it, and I've had great results from that. It's kind of a nice way to just, have some self-discipline and really, restrict yourself part of the time, and then part of the time kind of take a break from that while still getting good results and still taking care of yourself and getting proper nutrition and stuff like that. But, part of the year I will definitely check out some of those little variations and those little desserts and things like that and different ways to eat. And I'll incorporate them here and there. I'm not to the point where I'm not like I don't have like awful things that I deal with anymore, really. Like I don't have a lot of the like autoimmune issues and things like that some people have to deal with, where I think a lion diet type of approach or a BBBE would be probably the most beneficial to them. I don't have those kind of issues, so if I kind of relax a little bit, I can still see great results in my health and my fitness, because that's what it really is all about to me. Is just kind of keeping my weight my fat and my muscle balance at a level that I can kind of accept and like. I'm not really happy with it right now. I kind of, like I said, I go through those waves and things like that, so I'm trying to get myself back down to more of a leaner area right now. But, those are things I kind of can incorporate and kind of without having to worry about the autoimmune or any kind of health issues that kind of can arise with that. But, it all depends on like what you're wanting to do, what you're willing to accept, what kind of problems things can give you, things like that. You have to do a self-assessment and kind of decide, like, can I incorporate these more dessert things? Do artificial sweeteners mess with me at all? Am I scared of what, there's been people saying they cause cancer and stuff. I think a lot of that stuff's been really debunked and stuff like that. But, it's what you have to kind of self-assess and do a self-assessment and say, what am I in this for? You know what I mean? So kind of understanding these ketogenic desserts, they sell them in stores or they have recipes online and stuff like that. It's become a huge thing. There's always a marketing thing, right? Whenever like a diet comes along, a way of eating that, some people would look at it from the outside and call it a fad. When I started a carnivore diet, I considered it a fad diet. I don't anymore. Once it's kind of like, I can do this forever and I want to do this forever, and it is going to be at the very least the foundation of how I eat. I no longer call it a fad diet. I think so many people are doing it now and seeing great results and wanting to and finding it sustainable because you're not starving yourself, you're not restricting calories too much and things like that. You can kind of still live your life with, especially if you're incorporating these kind of things, right? These keto desserts and stuff, you can still kind of even enjoy yourself a little bit and use it as entertainment, which is the thing I always, I give a lot of people shit about, is allowing their food to become entertainment to them. But, it is a part of our culture, a part of our society, and I recognize that is a thing. It's just going to happen. So these are just like less bad options, right, than having desserts that are full of bullshit, like, soybean oil, canola oil, obviously sugar, your corn syrups, and all this kind of bullshit, right? These awful, processed, highly processed, damaging, food products. I don't even call them food, but you are going to be eating processed foods if you're buying these kind of ketogenic desserts in the store. They are going to include artificial sweeteners in them. That's just, it comes with the territory of buying these and eating these. They're going to have binding agents. They're going to have the xanthan gum. They're going to have all those kind of fillers and ingredients that, you can do a lot of research on and find out, is this damaging? Is it not? There's a lot of them that, have been demonized and people have their feelings on them. I've done some research on the artificial sweeteners myself, things like that. I don't really have a problem having them in moderation anymore. They help me keep the weight off. They help me kind of relax and use food as entertainment and kind of enjoy a meal, now and then, get the little dopamine hit. I just, I try not to overdo it. I am eating for my, to prolong my life and sustain my health and to nourish myself and keep my, keep all my different organs and stuff functioning at an appropriate level and keep my hormones balanced. That's why I eat, you know what I mean? But I understand there is a time and a place where you can kind of maybe be a little lax and enjoy yourself. So these are just things you need to do. I'll pound the table on you got to keep reading the food labels. You got to keep making those informed choices, and you got to pay attention and understand the fact that there's going to be some stuff in these kind of desserts and stuff like that you're going to have to either accept that you're going to have to consume them or walk away. Your other option, there are, homemade keto desserts you can make. There are different things you can do at home. There's a ton of keto-friendly websites now. Like I said, I think it's gone from even being like a niche thing. It's become a full-blown almost industry. The low-carb, carnivore, keto diet type of thing is really taking the world by storm, and that's why I think it's more so. It's gone beyond being a fad diet, and I think it's really at the point now where people are really doing it. And you know what? If these keto desserts, if you're eating them and they're keeping you from buying, the bullshit, like you're instead of buying cake and ice cream at the store, and you're kind of finding higher protein, options, animal-based options in your house that don't have sugar, don't have corn syrups, and don't have soybean oil, and don't have all these other seed oils and all this other garbage in them. I'm all for it, man. I'm happy for you guys if you found options that are, at least it's better. It's less bad than what you were doing before. I'm happy with it, and I do it myself. You know what I mean? Like, even at my kids' birthday parties now, like my wife will make me a little, cheesecake type thing that I can enjoy. That's pretty much carnivore friendly. It's pretty much a like cream cheese, heavy whipping cream, some sweetener in there. And then she kind of chills it, and I have like my own little, there's no crust or anything, but my own little cheesecake that I can kind of rip into, or some ice cream. I found ways to make ice cream. I'll talk about that in a little bit. But yeah, these are things you can do at home. Like I said, there's plenty of YouTube channels, blogs online, recipe websites, things like that, where you can find these kind of keto recipes or these, carnivore friendly dessert recipes that you can make them. And you know what? Like I said, it's less bad than what you were doing before. So that, I'll move into that. Like the thing with all of them, what you're going to have to understand is that, the big thing about a dessert is it's typically sweet, right? So you're going to have to accept, if you're eating these carnivore, ketovore, desserts, there's going to be some kind of zero calorie or, sweetener in it, whether it's like a Splenda, sweet and low, monk fruit extract. There's tons of them. There's so many different kinds out there that people use. And you're going to have to accept the fact that if you're eating these desserts, you have to take a look at the big picture and say, are these things that will affect me or could affect me or anything like that? And, if you're already using that shit, if you're in this strictly for weight loss, then, by all means, this is a fantastic hack. You know what I mean? There's a lot of us that are here strictly for the weight loss and to keep the weight loss, the weight off. And if that's really what you're here for, then awesome. 0 calorie sweeteners are your bag. That's where you need to be really that's where you can really enjoy yourself. And, you're already probably drinking diet soda or doing whatever, putting some sweetener in your coffee in the morning, whatever it is. These are things that you can kind of, okay, I can do these desserts. Shit, you can almost like live on them. You know what I mean? Like, I don't recommend that, but like, there's people who probably do. It's like I said, I could literally almost like eat my ice cream all the time that I make, and I'll tell you how I do that in a little bit. But you need to like figure out which ones, if you are going to eat these kind of sweeteners and stuff. And like I said, I am not advocating for every person on here to come out and start eating desserts and sweeteners and stuff like that. When I give advice here, is, it's not for everybody. If you're like, I don't want this, don't be pissed at me for talking about it. But you got to find the ones that work for you, that you find palatable and maybe don't cause you any issues. I know there's people who have taken sweeteners and said they've given them headaches and shit like that and things like that. You gotta navigate all that stuff, kind of experiment on yourself and see what happens. But and the other thing you got to balance out is your indulgence with your goals, right? Your dietary goals, your nutrition goals, your health goals, your fitness goals, whatever you're here for. We're all here for different reasons. We don't all have the same story. I recognize the health benefits of a carnivore diet, and I want to talk about it like all the time. I think they're fantastic and everything. That's not what brought me here. What brought me here was being a fat ass. That's what brought me here. And so that's why my journey does incorporate some different, I swing different ways on this diet. I kind of have times where I do have these desserts and sweeteners and diet sodas and things like that, and drinking coffee and things like that. And I'm more like, the 0 calorie aspect of it does appeal to me, and the higher protein aspect of it does appeal to me, because at the end of the day, I just want to lose fat and keep fat off, or at least when I try to gain weight back, be able to have a semblance of control, which I've been able to do. Like, I'm at a level right now that I'm not 100% pleased with. I had to gain some weight to put on an amount of muscle that I wanted to put on. Some fat comes with that. But, I was able to do it in a controlled manner. Obviously, now I'm going to have to, in a controlled manner, lose that weight back. And I've done it multiple times on this diet, and I will be successful this time. And I will, I'm going to go through this again. But, you just have to be able to navigate that and accept and do it in a way that you can accept and you can control. And if this helps you do that, then that's fine. If you're here for health benefits strictly, you're not necessarily care about the weight thing and all that, and you just want to eat nothing but whole animal-based foods, like, just meats and animal fats and things like that, and non-processed stuff and no sweeteners and all that, that's perfectly fine. This video probably doesn't appeal to you or apply to you. You can just ignore and move on. But, you gotta have to balance your indulgence if you choose to indulge in these desserts with your dietary goals, with your, what you're trying to do, right? So, you can't look at it like I just talked about a minute ago. Some people would probably just eat this way all the time, just live on these freaking desserts and try to see results that way. I would actually just encourage you to approach it as an occasional treat, just like you should with normal desserts. I know a lot of people have a dessert with like every meal, including their whole breakfast being it. I look at like pancakes and waffles and shit as a dessert, and people eat that, including me in the past, as a whole meal for breakfast. But you can't look at these things as they shouldn't be everyday staples. Like, you should be here because your food is keeping you functioning, keeping you running, and keeping you alive, and keeping your nutrition, and keeping your your hormones in check and things like that. And if you're just living on these dessert type products, you're probably not helping yourself in that regard. So look at them as, treats. Look at them as, the occasional indulgence and not something that you need to have every day. You know what I mean? You gotta find ways to do those find those balances and come up with strategies that you can kind of implement that. You gotta listen to your body. I always talk about listening to your body. I always talk about finding a sustainable approach to your dessert consumption, and but being able to stick to your carnivore diet, because like I said, like I have a dessert that I really have as a go-to. I bought a Ninja Creamy, which is fantastic. Whey is a carnivore food. It is highly processed down. It's dried, and it's really granular, tiny stuff. And I just don't recommend having whey as like a staple of your diet. I'd rather you eat a whole steak. You digest it differently. It gets run through your body differently. You extract different benefits from it differently. So I always recommend everybody eat the whole foods instead of like drinking a whey protein. Steak over shake, right? But for me to have ice cream, the whey protein is a great way for me to have that. So that's kind of where I incorporate my protein is in a shake is with whey. I use these. I use whey. I think the ones I use are like Mountain Ops, because they're pretty much ketovore. They're definitely more ketovore side. They're not like fully 100% carnivore. It's got the xanthan gums and sweeteners and shit in them. But they're more on the ketovore side. They're ketogenic. They're zero carb, the ones I buy. And I mix it with egg whites and heavy whipping cream, and I freeze it, and I make ice cream with it. I think it's fantastic, but it's not a thing I do every day. You know what I mean? But I'm getting a hell of a lot of protein in that meal, or in that snack. You know what I mean? I'm getting minimal fat, and because I don't use very much. I use like 2 tablespoons of heavy whipping cream in it. It's a shitload of protein in this thing. It's ice cream. Don't get me wrong. When I eat it, I'm like, I can't believe I'm like eating ice cream here. But I'm getting like 50, 60 grams of protein, because I'm using the whey protein, mixing it with egg whites, like the liquid egg whites in the store. Not the egg beater stuff. That's full of bullshit. It's not real egg. Don't be fooled. The egg whites are just pure protein. And, a little bit of heavy whipping cream. And if I don't necessarily need to throw any sweetener in it. There's plenty of that in the whey protein. So it's like 3 ingredients, and I throw it together. And is it fully 100% carnivore, not ketovore, whatever? No, it's not. But you know what? It's good nutrition. It's a hell of a lot of protein, and it works for me. And it's when I need a snack. That's when I need that food as entertainment. That's kind of my go-to. So that's kind of how I do it. And I think it's it's kind of a cool little investment that I bought, this little Ninja Creamy thing that makes me some ice cream that I can eat while watching TV or something. I'm getting a hell of a lot of protein out of it. So anyways, this video will probably piss a lot of you off that are more on the strict side, and that's fine. You can flame me in the comments. I don't give a flying fuck about any of that. Go ahead and try to roast my ass, and I will sleep just fine tonight. I will continue eating the way I want and advocating that people, find the version of the carnivore diet that works best for them, and I will continue to ignore your ass. But, like I said, we all have different approaches and things like that. So let me know kind of what you guys think about it. If you think me advocating for people once in a while having a ketogenic dessert treat is gonna kill the masses, or whatever crazy shit you believe, or if you agree with me and you want to talk about it and share some kick-ass zero carb carnivore friendly desserts that you might have, let me know what you guys got. That's gonna be it for today. Like I said, check down in the comment, or in the check down in the description, get your free guide to the carnivore diet, get your shopping list, get out there, get started, get losing weight right now, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Adios.